Eating out on the bike can be a challenge sometimes, but if you have the right food in your pockets, it makes the world of difference. So luckily, we are joined by Nigel Mitchell, nutritionist, some of the stars of our sport. And in your new book, Nigel, you've got plenty of recipes you're going to share with our viewers on how to cook and eat out on the bike. Really, it does make a difference. But today, we're going to be talking about rice cakes, big day out drink, and also a gravel trail mix.
So we're going to do, which is the basic rice cake recipe, but this is including Oreo biscuits. So this is so popular with the riders. The standard recipe is 500 grams of rice and a litre of water. And again, the Swanniers are great on improvising and innovating, so they don't have scales on the buses. So what they use is a 500ml bottle. So we'll do it exactly the same. I mean, so if you're just making these for yourself or for a couple of friends, I'd just go for a half recipe. So
another use for your GCN Elite water bottle.
That's roughly 500 grams. So we're just to there. Take the lid off.
Okay, and if you don't have one of these at home, you're just watching this video, what would you recommend?
You can use a pan. So when you're doing it with a pan, you've got to be more on it.
So we're going 1 part rice, 2 parts water.
Yeah.
The water bottle doing the job of your measuring jug.
So that all goes in, dead simple. And then we want about a big spoon of sugar in.
Okay.
Just for flavouring, I'm going to put a cinnamon stick in.
Okay, so a whole cinnamon stick.
Yeah. And we also add a spoonful of coconut oil. Now, this will cross over into when we do the big day out drink, because coconut oil is great from a texture point of view, but also the fats in it are great when we're exercising, because most of the fats are in it are what we call MCTs, medium chain triglycerides. So the body's able to use these when we're exercising. So it's a really good fuel as well. So just put a big spoon of that in. So I'm just going to switch this on.
So just 10 minutes in the cooker then?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Well, let's fast forward 10 minutes and see how they've turned out.
Okay. Right, so the rice is cooked. So we take the lid off.
Oh, smells gorgeous.
Smells great, doesn't it?
Okay.
So we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. I'm going to add some agave nectar. This adds a bit more sweetness to it and is great for the texture as well. I'll just take the cinnamon stick out, put that there.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty potent rice cake.
And we're just going to mash them up a little bit. So if we just put them, so easy one there, we just sort of like give this a good, there we go. That should get that all sort of crumbed up a little bit.
Glad that was a table and not my head.
So we just pop those in, and then we want the cream cheese. We put about 300 grams in, so that's like 1.5 packs of these. And what I've got here, if people want to do it plant-based, then we use cream coconut instead.
Okay.
So the next bit is we give this a right good stir. Over to you.
Okay.
So we need to bag it up now, and so I'm going to get you to help me. So if you can keep it open like that, move a bit closer.
Okay.
So these bags are the perfect size for doing a full mix like this. So we just squash it all down.
There you go.
That's it, job done. So we just let that cool, then we put it in the fridge for a few hours.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Nigel, rice cakes we made are in the fridge cooling down overnight, but you have brought another bag which you made yesterday. So here we go. Yeah.
So I'm going to cut just some strips and I'm going to wrap it.
Lovely.
And people always ask me about the wrapping. So we use a special foil. This is available again in most supermarkets, where it's parchment on one side and it's foil on the other. And that's as simple as that. And then that can go in your pocket and off you go.
There you go, brilliant. Homemade fuel on the go.
Yeah.
But what's next, Nigel? I believe we have over 2,000 calories in a bottle?
Yeah, so that's the big day out drink. So
big day out drink.
We can get 2,000, just less than 2,400 calories in that.
Okay.
I think you'll like it.
Let's see how we make it.
This has really come about by people doing the adventure racing, where they're out all day and it's really difficult to carry all the food that you need. So this is one option where you can get all of your calories in a drink, and you can then back that up with some other things like the gravel mix and things like that. But for some people, especially if they're trying to race it, then this is an ideal sort of drink. And the way that you do it is that you take a sip of the drink, which is really concentrated, and then you'll have some water. So you keep sipping at both. So you stage the drink out through the ride, so it's providing the energy that you require. So I also bring into it some medium chain triglycerides, MCTs. So these are the same oils that are in coconut, and these are easier to digest and absorb. They're easier to be used in the muscle as energy. So they add a lot of the energy to this, and texture-wise, they add a real creaminess to the drink. So even though there's no flavour in this, it tastes really good. So we start off with, we have 500 grams of maltodextrin. And if people do a search for maltodextrin, you can get plain maltodextrin. So I'm using the Thermomix for two things with this. First of all, it's to weigh all the ingredients, and I'm then going to mix it into the drink.
Okay. So it's pretty simple, really, just all the ingredients in, mix it up.
Dead easy.
Yeah.
And what you can do with this, if you want to make it at home in the bottle, you can do that and freeze it. And then, you know, if you're traveling to an event, you've got it made up. Okay. Because it is so concentrated, it can be a little bit difficult just to mix it in with a shaker. You can do it. You can split this into 2 bottles if you want and do it that way. So, you know, there's different ways you can use it, but the thing is that you know you're getting all these calories. So we'll put 500 grams of maltodextrin in.
So what's that going in now?
This is the MCTs.
Okay.
So again, people can get this by doing a search on the internet, but they want MCT powder, not the liquid, because MCT liquid, it tends to be a bit heavier on the stomach, a little harder on the stomach.
Okay. And how many grams are we
I'm putting 120 of MCTs.
Okay.
Just put a little bit more in. And then we'll be putting in 100 grams of fructose. So the fructose gives it a sweetness, but also what we've got there is this multi-stage carbohydrate, because if it's just glucose, and we're having a lot of glucose, then that can saturate the channels for absorbing the glucose. So if we're using fructose as well, we've got this multi-transport carbohydrate system.
So in with the fructose, how many grams are we doing here?
100 grams of fructose.
100 grams of fructose.
So this is a little bit lower as a ratio to a lot of drinks, but, but we've still got a lot of fructose here. And again, if we overdo the fructose, that can be a little bit heavy on people's stomachs. So we've got 100 grams of fructose.
And what about the electrolytes, Nigel?
Yeah, so people can add more or a bit less, but I'm going to put 5 grams of salt in this. It's just normal table salt. So that's going to be giving us the sodium that we want for this drink as well.
So your 4 ingredients, in they go, and then we're going to whiz it up.
I've got 6 grams in, but don't tell anybody. And then we just give it a little mix.
And away we go. So we'll give that a mix, and then we'll pour it out into a
glass. I'm just mixing the powder, and then I put some water in.
I see.
So you could just mix the powder like that, put it in a bag, but we're going to put some water in and mix it in a drink.
Okay, perfect. How much water is actually going to go into this then now?
So we're going to make it up to 750 mils.
750 mils.
We're going to put this in a 750 ml bottle. So what I'll do just to get get it mixed in, I'll put about 300 mils in, and then I'll top it up.
Okay.
Because of the powder, that is the solute. If I put 700 mils in, obviously it's going to be more than that because of the powder. So I need to put a little bit less in, and then we can top it up.
I see.
And then that's the drink made up. Ooh. Here you go, a little taste.
It's not bad actually.
It's really weird.
Nice.
I know it's really weird, isn't it? It's really weird because you'd think this is going to be minging. But
it's genuinely lovely. I thought that was going to be absolutely
rotten. I said to you, you'd think it'd be minging. You don't have to drink it all because you're not riding. But this is the MCT, so they give it a really nice texture. Wow. It's not too sweet. And people can play around with some of the formulations with it. So people can use a bit more MCT if they want. Really? But you know, that'd be ideal.
Just so convenient.
Yeah.
All your energy is in one bottle.
And all the ingredients, you might not be able to just get them on the high street, but they're definitely all of the ingredients available over the internet. But the key thing always is use it in training.
Yeah.
So before you use it in an event, get out using it in training first.
That's like rocket fuel. Love it. Brilliant, Nigel. So I'm looking forward to seeing the next one, which is your kind of gravel trail
mix.
Okay, next one in Nigel's Magic Ride Fuel recipe book. You got bags of them, Nigel, but this one is like a gravel trail mix. So tell me more.
So my idea with this really come from I was spending some time in the States, and I saw they were using a lot of trail mixes out there, and I thought, well, this is ideal for doing gravel rides or adventure racing or bike packing. You've got your bag on the front of the bike, and then you have a bag of this mix in it, and you just keep dipping in, taking a handful and eating it. And it just takes no prep at all. So, and I'm not even going to weigh things out here. Okay. It's just a bit of a, just a bit of a look at it. So I'm using some sunflower seeds. So seeds are great because from a nutrition point of view, we've got lots of trace elements in here, slow released energy. We're using pistachio nuts, which again, great slow released energy, protein, potassium, lots of great fats in there as well. Then we've got some sultanas, and everything I'm using here is about 100 grams of each. Okay. And then the other thing, just as a changing the flavors and the energy up a bit, we've got some chocolate in candy shells. So the idea is it doesn't melt too easy. And we put some of those in with it. This is
literally like a cyclist pick and mix.
It is a cyclist pick and mix. And what I've called this is then just a gravel mix. So that is it. And you can keep it in a Tupperware, or what I tend to say to people is put it in a zip bag, put it in the bag on the front, and just keep having a bit. So there you go.
That's brilliant. So instead of being a kid and having your pick and mix go and smash in the jungle gym, you can go out and smash the miles out on your bike.
Yeah, so. But it is designed for that sort of, again, long day out where you're not going super intense and you're wanting mixtures of flavour. And then the other thing that you can add to it is a little bit of salt. So you've tried it without the salt, and now you get sweet and salty. And a lot of people really love this. So again, I've had riders using this in things like the Badlands ride in southern Spain.
I love the result.
I thought you'd like it. And that's it. We've got 4 really good on the bike recipes done there.
It's brilliant. I love them. They are really, really just fascinating to have your insight into this nutrition. And so I'm still chewing on my pickle mix. But Nigel, you spent over 10 years in the World Tour and helping riders kind of really reach their goals through food. You've also kind of touched on other sports, you're telling me, so you've been working with rowers, triathletes, and this book is kind of bringing all that knowledge together, isn't it?
Yeah, so the book's bringing really, I worked World Tour for 11 years, but I've been working with pro riders for like 25 years in different formats. Yeah. But I've worked with pretty much endurance athletes from every sport. I mean, one of the things we're working on at the moment, I work with the cross-country ski team, work with Ironman triathletes, sailing team. And what you can do is you can bring ideas from other sports to help people with the sports that you're working in. So the book's bringing all this experience into one book.
Yeah, it's great. And I just love the ideas you've shared with us today, because it's so easy to kind of get a bit stale with the food you eat on a ride and go for the same thing all the time. And these are 3 things, especially that bidding of rocket fuel. I love that. Just 3 different things I've never really had before, and it just keeps it interesting when you're out on the bike. But let us know in the comment section below which one you go for on your next epic ride out into the wilderness. And well, I'm going to keep eating my pick and mix and see you on the next video. But I think I'm going to do about 200 miles on my bike first. Thanks, Nigel. See you, everyone.